Hello guys, welcome to a new video on Tower of God New World, and in this video I'm going to give you my first impression on the new SSR Plus unit YURI. And I will start by saying that I would have liked to have a version of YURI that we can actually use and that is relevant in the meta. Not to say that the regular YURI, so the green SSR Plus one, is not good. She is perfectly fine, especially if you have high investments on her. She still works, so no problem. But I would have liked an actual current YURI to be playable, not some sort of past YURI that is barely shown in the manhwa. And I think many people will agree. But unfortunately, I don't think this version of YURI that just got released is the one we were looking for. Her utility is somewhat acceptable, but she seems to be a downgraded version of the last SSR unit that we got, so yellow Kunagero. And that's really sad when you have an SSR Plus unit that kind of overlaps with an SSR unit. And I will say she's basically just a downgrade. She's also an expensive one because she needs Revolution 4 to do what base Kunagero does, which is really, really strange. The design of the skills and her kit is really questionable, and we're going to go over that once we look at the skills. But they didn't really do a good job here. Actually, they did a poor job at making YURI actually usable. I'm aware that there are still a few people with a bug that allows YURI to just one-shot the enemy team or all units that are not invincible. So amazing if you have that bug, but if you don't, she's really pretty much worthless, which is unfortunate. And yeah, we're going to go over the details again once we look at the kit. But this just to mention, she can be used. It's not like she's entirely a dead pick, but I would not recommend anybody to pick her. If you're free to play, this is not a unit you should go for. Almost for certain, like you should just skip her. We'll see if in the following weeks there will be some sort of weird interaction that come out that really shine, but I doubt it. So for now, I'd say don't pull for her, even though her design in terms of actual appearance is not bad at all, especially the skin, but whatever. But the functionality in Adventure is really, really limited. So unless you have the vast majority of the units already and you have a lot of resources, this is not a unit for you. And yeah, we also have to take into account that 3 more units are coming this month. One of them is likely to be a family head unit, and another SSR Plus is almost obvious. There is an SSR Plus every 2 weeks right now. The release schedule has been really insane lately. And yeah, it's actually good to have some worthless units here and there so that you don't have to pull for all of them. But YURI shouldn't have been one of the worthless one from my point of view. That's just sad. But okay. So let's have a quick look at the skills, and we have one of the weirdest passives in the whole game, because lately we just have all essays as passives, like a lot of different effects, really, really good passives. This one is very short and half of it is trash. Because the first line is just, she casts the special move at the start of the battle. Okay, good. Second line is already not good. I mean, is lore accurate, but is not good, because she's going to be able to cast the special move only once. And that's it. Okay, so like this passive has 3 sentences, and one of them is a nerf to her character. So that's already interesting. The first one is basically doing nothing other than saying the first thing you cast is the special move. That's it. They could have moved these 2 directly to the special move, like saying the special move does not require energy and will be cast immediately at the start of the battle, and you cannot use it a second time. That could have been already in the text of the special move. No reason to waste the passive for that, because all the passive does at this point is the last sentence, which is she consumes 100 energy to increase her own magic pierce by 2% at level 1, 4% at level 5, max 20 stacks. The buff cannot be removed with buff removal skills. Now, what's the issue with this skill? Is that other than the energy that you consume in the first 2 seconds, and 2 seconds because that's the focus time of the special move, everything else is kinda meh because it's buffing the damage of your active skills, which is worthless. So if you can give her enough energy at the start of the battle, well, I mean, she starts with 500 if you have Rainbow 5, so that's already a 20% magic pierce right off the bat. If you also have, I don't know, a bomb, those are like 2 more stacks, more or less. If you have Runda, likely that's going to be 1 more stack. So there are some ways to get some fairly quickly. But I would say having more than 8 will be kind of tricky for the actual first hit. But still, 8 is already quite good. It's like 32% magic pierce. And everything else, like up to 80%, from my point of view, is irrelevant. Like her active skills are really bad. Her damage is not really something you should build for. So I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, it's a great buff on paper, but not really for a kid. I don't know. But yeah, whatever. So that's it. That's the passive. Nothing. There is really nothing here. Then we have the first active skill. Also really short, but at least this one is quite good. So we have an active skill that just deals 3 hits for 400% of our attack's damage, so 1200%. Not the greatest of multipliers, but it's an active, so we cannot expect much. And then she's going to knock the enemies down for 2 seconds with each hit. Okay. And we have the good part of this active skill, that is Yuri is going to steal 40% magic and physical resistance for 12 seconds. That's going to be up basically 100% of the time if you have Revolution 5. So that's pretty good. That's nice survivability, but I wouldn't rely on it. This is just going to help you with the resistance decrease that the enemies have and also the increase in pierce. But I wouldn't rely on it. Like I wouldn't go below 99% resistance just because you say, oh, well, I have 40 coming from the active skill. No, this is not something to be relied upon. It's just something to block extra damage, let's say. Then we have the other active skill. This is also quite good. And that is, she's going to be immune to status effects and launch a wave fist at the furthest enemy, dealing 800% of her attack's damage to enemies in range and knocking them down for 3 seconds. Okay, CC. What's good is this last part. She's going to create binding shackles on the target for 8 seconds, which lock the enemy for 3 seconds if they use an active skill and nullify it. This is a really, really good effect. And also in this case, if you have Rainbow 5, this will be up most of the times on the target. So this is a really good block. And that's it. I mean, that's the kit outside of the special move. That's all that she's going to do after the first 2 seconds. I will say, looking at how they're trying to buffer damage with the passive here and also with the stacks from the Revolution 5, they are trying to give her damage, but from my point of view, they should have just entirely ignored the damage portion of her kit. Like, don't even try to make her deal damage, just provide a lot of utility. Because you're taking the special move out of the picture, which means all the supports that provide energy and provide buffs to special move damage, etc., will be worthless with her. Like, you cannot use a Garam, because Garam, to buff the special move, she needs to cast her own, and chances are she won't be doing it in the 2 initial seconds. So not really a great pick there. And yeah, I mean, it's just a weird decision. They, like, taking into account that you don't have a special move you can reuse, they should have buffed these active skills even more, even giving her crazy high multiplier. Like, instead of 800, at least 1500 in this one. And here, instead of 400 per hit, maybe 700 per hit, which is 2100 total. That would have been at least acceptable. Like this is just no damage whatsoever. Really, really strange. Now, off to the main part, which is the special move. We have the Ignition Kranos. Yuri is going to focus for 2 seconds. And once we read the revolution, I don't really know what to say. Is really insane. But okay. She's going to focus for 2 seconds to summon Kranos. She's then going to teleport at the center of the battlefield while invincible, gather Shinsu into Kranos and ignite it. And then she's going to deal damage equal to 2400% of her attack to all enemies. This is a good multiplier, but bear in mind it's only once. And reduce their HP recovery amount by 80% for 20 seconds. This debuff cannot be removed with debuff removal skills. And the last part, I don't even know if we want to read it because it's entirely irrelevant, but okay. If the enemy HP is below 50%, the targets are killed instantly. And when they receive fatal damage, any enemy skill that activates when fatal damage is taken for the first time is nullified. Now, 2 seconds to get units below 50%. That is not something that you can achieve. It's basically impossible. So unless we're getting EX Gustung at the end of the month, and that guy is going to be a mage, and that guy is going to have an AoE damage on the special move that cannot be ignored or that is super massive, something like that, this is entirely useless. Because the only units that can cast the special move quickly enough and also hope to deal enough damage to bring units below 50% at a reasonable deficit are only going to be EX units. Because they have 700 starting energy. Thing that everyone else has 500. So if they give us a Gustang with a crazy good special move and you attach an Albelda to him to give an additional 200 energy, Revolution 4 Arbelda, then that's 900 starting energy. That basically guarantees that as soon as the fight starts, Gustang is going to use the special move, destroy and deal a shit ton of damage to the enemies, and then Yuri is going to execute them. That's the only scenario I see. That's the only one I see. But I hope that's not gonna happen. I don't know. Whoever designed this threshold is really stupid. This is not going to work at a deficit that's higher than, I think, 200. So not even that high of a deficit. Because I tried at 250 to have a Ryana unit to bring at least one below 50%, but that's not working. Even at 250, that's the deficit I'm currently at. Like, a Ryana unit like Jinsung cannot get a unit below 50%, which is sad, but that's what it is. So this is not proccing, not a chance. So all there is to this special move is an AoE Ryana hit, because I think you're going to run Ryana on her, which is going to silence enemies for 3 seconds, and at times it also bugged out, I don't know why, but most of the times it worked. So 3 second AoE silence, that is good to have at this 2 second time frame, because that's more or less when enemies are going to cast the special move, and having them silenced is going to be pretty important. So I like that aspect. But then HP recovery reduced by 80%. for 20 seconds. Like 20 seconds is extremely, extremely short. So like 25 seconds into the fight, this debuff will be gone. And I don't know, like this shouldn't have been an HP recovery amount decrease. Should have been an HP recovery block that they decided to fix in Revolution. But this is something, like this is a special move you cast once. It's not possible that you make it with some issues already in the base version. We have half of it that's never gonna proc. This execute does not exist. So all that this special move does is 2400% attack in an AoE on all enemies and reduce their HP recovery. That's it. This is not a one-time special move. This is not a one-time special move. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but this is just so underpowered that it doesn't make any sense. And making it flawed to start with the HP recovery decrease instead of block, is just, from my point of view, a bad design. On top of it, when you focus, you are not immune to status effects. You gain it from Revolution. And on top of that, you only gain a status effect immunity. You don't gain invincibility. And this prevents you from like running a full damage build to maximize that damage and to capitalize only on that. You are kind of forced to go with resistances. And you might say, yeah, but I can place her in the backline and she should survive those 2 seconds. Yes, you can do that. But then you have to place her in the backline. And afterwards, like after she casts this skill, she will most likely die unless you're using like Anniversary or Revolution 5, Albelda, Bam plus Evan, those kind of things. So there are ways to keep her alive, but is really, really demanding for what she does. So even if you pull that off and you say, okay, let's go full damage, I will do a huge chunk of damage immediately, that's not even going to be more than like 40% of the enemy HP, which is good if they cannot recover it. Don't get me wrong, but that's it. And I don't know, like it feels like something is missing here. I kind of like the design, but they didn't put enough in her kit, if that makes sense. It's still okay, but not enough. Like if we take as an example Kunagero, that guy has magic resistance decrease, HP recovery block, energy decrease on the enemies, swiftness decrease, a lot of crowd controls to freeze enemies. Like lots and lots of stuff. And what does she have? She has AoE damage that blocks HP recovery only with Revolution, some magic resistance and physical resistance decrease, and well, the thing I really like that is the active skill block. That's really good, but that's it. And she's an SSR plus unit. I don't know. She's not really convincing me that much, and I don't want to talk too much about her because this is just a first impression and it's already way longer than all the previous first impressions. But it's just that I'm really disappointed. I was expecting a lot more from this unit, and from my point of view, it's just poor design. And probably they didn't even test her. Or if they did test her, that was in a really weird setting. I don't know. And yeah, let's just have a look also at the exclusive equipment. We have level 1 that is going to increase our own swiftness by 5 every time the ultimate weapon skill consumes energy. So again, something that can stack. It doesn't state that this cannot be removed. I didn't check it, to be honest. So this 50 swiftness might even be removed by, I don't know, an enemy, Urek, Anniversary Iwa, or Garam. The good thing is that even if it's removed, this is just a one special move worth of energy because you proc it every 100 energy. Then we have the Giga Nuclear Punch is enhanced to steal 100 energy from enemies hit. But even then, like it's just an okay energy steal. It's good to proc the passive, but once you cap it out, if the enemy don't have the like buff removals, and if these things can actually be removed. I didn't check it. Like, this is just worth, okay, you're reducing enemy energy, which is good. But that's just, I don't know, because it's not an active skill, it's not going to be active that frequently. Like, in comparison, that stupid Kunagero has a 200 energy per second decrease on something that lasts for 7 seconds. And it can cast it a lot of times because the special move can be cast way more frequently than an active skill. So this is okay, but not even comparable. Then we have the level 3 that I like. Is going to apply the binding shackles on all enemies hit instead of only the furthest away target. That's great. And level 4 depends on how you build, but this could be completely negated by your own build, because if you want to maximize the abilities attacks, you have to go slot 5 crit rate and try to cap the crit rate. So that would have been a guaranteed crit anyway. And I would recommend that way of building because she gets a lot of like magic pierce from her kit already, like 80% from the passive plus 40% magic resistance steal. That's already 120. It's way better to have guaranteed crits, but this will lower the damage of your first special move. So kind of depends how you want to play her. If you want to go full damage on the first hit and then who cares what happens to her, then by all means go magic pierce slot 5. If you want to keep her alive and keep her on the field, you want to go slot 4 magic resistance, slot 5 crit rate, aim for the 100% in both magic and physical resistance, and then to reach 100% crit rate. That's how I would build her. I would still go Rihanna for the utility that the AoE silence provides, but I don't know. It's really not convincing enough. Like, this stuff at base is not enough. And then on top of that, lifesteal here feels like trolling. This is like it could have been physical resistance. Physical resistance would have been the best choice. Magic resistance barely acceptable. Well, I guess magic resistance could let you go without slot 4 magic resistance and still pull off the 100 probably. So any of those two would have been better. Lifesteal is borderline, well, not borderline worthless, is 100% worthless. Because warriors have lifesteal subnode. You don't need tons of lifesteal anyway, you just need a few percentage points. So this is entirely overkill, not needed, and worthless. So yeah, I'd say, guys, that's pretty much my first impression. As you can see, is not really a positive one. And yeah, not much else to say. Let me know in the comments what you think about her. If you think I'm overestimating her, let me know how you're playing her, just so that I can try as well to see exactly what you guys are experiencing too. But I don't know. I don't really feel like she's an upgrade to anyone. I don't feel like she's needed almost anywhere, especially when we have, again, Kunagero. Like, I don't see a team where I say I'd rather use YURI than Kunagero. I don't see it. Maybe the only scenario is... No, I don't see it. Because, like, you have 20... Having YURI in the fight literally tells you you have 20 seconds to win. After 20 seconds, my value drops so hard that you're not going to win. If you don't win in these 20 seconds, you're not going to win. And if you manage to win in, like, after the 20 seconds, you probably would have won without YURI. That's more or less my feeling here. So this is not a unit I would ever see myself like actually needing. I will use her, I will try to use her, and I will try different comps, but I wouldn't never find myself in a situation where I say, oh, I wish I had Yuri to use in this fight. I don't think that would happen. I guess the only scenario would be triple healers in the enemy team. Maybe already starting from double, but like against a single healer, we have Kunagero, that will do a better job. We have Alice that you can also run at that point in a single healer matchup, and she's going to be way better. Where is she even? Okay, here. So too strange. Really, I don't really see a practical use case where she's better than the alternatives. But okay, that's enough. That's already a very long first impression video, guys. So I'm sorry. I hope you understand why I talk that much about this unit. I really wanted a playable Yuri, but that's not happening, it seems. So yeah, maybe we'll have to wait for the double ignition weapon version of Yuri to actually be worth something. And maybe that's going to be an EX version. I don't know. We'll see. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the following days. Bye.